What's up, everybody? My name's Danny Ferrari.
My name is Parker Ament.
We are Excellent Sound, and today we're going to be showing you guys how to make Virtual Riot's Fat Rack using only stock Ableton plugins.
What was that?
Only stock.
Oh, shit.
And we're going to be able to take a sound that sounds like this to a sound that sounds like this. And then eventually...
face grinding.
And then you can make shit like this. And what that is right there is that is our demo track for Riddim Riot Volume 2. It is out now. Fucking super secret drop.
Yes, it is. Huge.
We dropped that shit. We'll be playing the demo track later in the video for you guys to hear, but we're going to be going through this main sound, and we're going to be showing you guys how to actually make the sound itself. Like I said, this fucking thing, it's called a laser bark. If you already have Riddim Riot Volume 2, congrats to you because you already have this preset. But also, for you guys that don't, we're going to give it away to you guys totally free. All you guys got to do is just... hopefully like the... You don't really have to do this, but if you could like the video, give us a nice little subscribe, compressed comment, limited like.
Exactly.
All this shit is already...
What to do.
Yeah. All this shit is already in the download description below, so make sure you guys go grab it. You can take your shit and leave, whatever. Get the fuck out of here. Right?
Yeah, this is one of the sickest sounds in the pack, man. Like,
yeah.
I can't believe that we're...
Yeah,
for free.
I know, it's like one of the best ones.
Yeah,
but we're stoked. We're super excited to have this pack out. Also, like this is for us. Like we were looking, or for me too, especially when I listen to like Virtual Riot and stuff. Like everybody knows about the Fat Rack. It's always out there, but you have to like...
Legend of the Fat Rack.
There's all these third-party plugins that you have to get for people that don't necessarily have, I don't know, a bunch of money or have the time to actually go through. And like, I think one of them is a free plugin. You have to do all this bullshit to get it. So I just decided to take that and remake it, use it all Ableton. Most of it is stock Ableton stuff. But it makes your stuff sound pretty fat. You could put it on anything, really. And we'll show you in a little bit in this track. We'll show you it's on some other stuff that we put on here. It's on the group and on this track itself. But
really cool techniques. Really cool techniques within it. And
they give you a little bit of explanation of why things are happening, maybe a little bit more in depth for you guys. And then some tips to be able to kind of manipulate it and make your own.
Yeah.
You know? Because I think that that's a really, really good way. I mean, and shout out to Virtual Riot. It's fat as fuck, dude.
Fat as fuck.
Clearly eating too much American food, dude.
Way too much.
Too much wiener schnitzel.
And it's going into the ears.
Straight in the ears.
Ears of the listeners.
He is PHAT, fat.
Fat
He's
as
not,
fuck.
He's not overweight. Like
I
me.
think the last time I said fat was wearing fucking baggy ass pants that were like orange and had
said,
like 16 pockets in it.
You said, and all that in a bag of chips.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are super excited. Do you have did you already show them the artwork to Riddim Riot Volume 2? Oh, you did? Okay, cool. I was trying to look at the camera, so I wasn't paying attention. But let's get into it. Let's make
let's jump right in.
Let's make this sound first, which is fucking crazy.
Super huge.
So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with a new MIDI track. Actually, I already have one here. Fuck it. I'm going to just use this one.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is from our demo track. We're going to make that sound right there. I'm going to go ahead and copy over. I'm going to take the Fat Rack. Actually, no, I'll do that later because we're going to do that. Okay. Let's just start with initiating this patch. This is a kind of a crazy patch. I'll try to do this kind of quickly, but yeah, it's a really good method for you guys to explain some of the ideas of what went into this actual patch in particular to make it sound the way it does. So for instance, if I hold it down, it kind of changes. I think that's really important to kind of do in your SERUM presets when you're designing them, or if you're taking ours and messing with them, is I always try to have a variation in the sound itself so that it's not just one sound. See how it goes, like, it shoots up high?
Kind of like a mini sequencer.
Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going on in this sound. So let's go ahead and initiate the preset. It's using all basic shapes, which is really great.
Fantastic.
So oscillator A is going to be basic shapes. Oscillator B is also going to be basic shapes. I'm going to go ahead and turn the volume down of oscillator B because that is going to be FMing into oscillator A. So oscillator A, first things first, we're going to go ahead and go to a square wave. Oops. This one, right? Yeah, so right around there, that's a square wave. We're going to put it up to 6 waves of unison. That sounds kind of cool as it is. I'm going to turn off I have processing on this entire bass. This is the group. I put all my basses in the group. I'm going to go ahead.
Show them a little sneak peek of what they get in the project file.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, this project file is included in Riddim Riot Volume 2.
Huge project file, you guys.
Yeah, dude,
Tons
like
of different stuff on there.
80 sounds. This is like the gnarliest project file we've ever done by far. Okay, I'm going to turn all that off for right now. So that sounds pretty cool, actually, as it is. It's like a little, like, cool hyper, like, AU5 fucking growl or something.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out AU5. That guy's dope. Okay, so detune. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down to 0.01. That sounded pretty good. I'm going to turn the blend is good. I'm going to turn the random down because I want it to start at the same point every time on oscillator A. And then I'm going to turn the level all the way down for right now. And then I'm going to choose FM from B, and we're going to get into B in just a second. I'm going to put it right around 11% for the knob for FM, for the warp. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and make our first LFO. This first LFO is going to be a shape like this. This is like a common, good like little bass yoink shape. This is a really good shape to mess around with. I usually start all my sounds with this shape, and then I kind of fuck with it from there. Sometimes it just works out where I just like this shape itself. I'm going to go ahead and set this to trigger, and I'm also going to go ahead and put it on, I think, half. And I'm going to put it on the LFO1 is first thing we're going to put on is the level of oscillator A. And I think actually, I have a macro on here that I have for the LFO rate, so I think it's actually going to be set to quarter. You can add, oh, fuck it, we'll do it right now. We're just going to go ahead and put a macro right here. Here's a nice little trick for you guys that are making your sounds. When you're using macros, I just turn it all the way up. Super fast, and I set it to where I want it to stop, to not be to. What am I trying to say? Yeah, at the slowest. Fuck, I don't even know what I'm saying.
At the height.
Yeah.
At the height of it.
Yeah, like there is probably where I would want it to be the most. And then I'm gonna dial this back to like right here, or maybe like right here. Right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, but if you want to just do it yourself, just go ahead. It's basically 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, so that's quarter notes. So if you just want to put this on quarter notes, this actually got moved. This is supposed to be a half. That's where it's supposed to be. I'm gonna turn this all the way up. Use that little trick that I showed. Cool. I'm liking that. All right. Next, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm going to fuck. What am I gonna do?
Want to start throwing the LFO?
Oh yeah,
on the,
oscillator B. Is this supposed to be a triangle wave? That's got to be a triangle wave. Let's go ahead and put it on the triangle. That fucking flies right on the computer. They can't see it, but there's a fly right on the fucking piece of shit.
That fucking tennis racket.
I like using triangle waves a lot when I'm using FM. Okay, next what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this to +4 for the octave. Nice. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the random down on oscillator B, like so. And like I said, the level's already down, so we're good on that. Let's go ahead and put LFO1 on the FM from B of oscillator A. And we're going to put that to 38, Parker?
Yes, sir.
Watch this. This is going to do some shit right now. Wow, that's already pretty crazy.
Buttes.
A little loud. That by itself just sounds so cool already. All right, cool.
Cool little fill sound.
Yeah, exactly. Nice and dry. Okay, next, do I have that on? What do I got it on? Do I have any on any coarse pitch stuff yet?
I
don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Okay,
so for B, I'm going to go ahead and select sync for this. I'm going to do sync no window, and I'm going to put it to like 1.02. That works. That's kind of like a good like little house.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's looking good. Let's go ahead and let's start our filter. Our filter, this is a big part of the sound especially. We're going to use a band pass filter, which I think it's band 12, BP12. Should be this one. No, it's not band 12.
Multi.
Get this fucking fly out of here, dude. There we go. I'm going to turn the cutoff all the way down, like so. I'm going to go ahead and put LFO1 on the cutoff, and it's going to go about 75%. To where? About, yeah, actually, it, exactly 75%. I fucking nailed that. Very nice. Oh, I forgot to save the effects. Oh, well.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
Fucking do it. All right. Nice. I'm going to turn the resonance up, too, so we get a little bit more whippage, which Parker would like to say. What's the resonance at?
Love the whippage.
40%. Whippage.
You could even save it from the other track real quick.
Yeah, I might do that, yeah. Nice. And then I have an actual I have a macro in the actual patch itself where I put the mix knob down. I could just do that real quick. So I'm gonna turn the macro down like this. I'm sorry, the mix knob of the filter, and I'm gonna put a macro on this right here. I'm gonna have it turn all the way. I'm gonna call this one filter mix. But so if you want to just have altering sounds, I like to have 2 presets in one sound if I can sometimes. Just to be able, that's what macro should be able to do, is be able to manipulate the sound into something else. Really cool. So filter mix all the way up. This was LFO rate, so let me change that. Nice. Sounded pretty cool so far, right?
Sounding huge.
All this is stock. I have to send the noise oscillator to here, so let's go ahead and make that. What do you think, Parker?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so noise oscillator, I'm going to choose analog, and I'm going to choose bright white, I think is what it is. Yeah, bright white. I'm going to go ahead and turn the pitch to like right around there. Is it 60%? Yeah, 58.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, and I'm going to turn the, no, I think it's all it, right? 30 toots?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, turn the level to 30 toots. And so that's kind of adding a little bit more texture into the sound itself. That's looking pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and let's add a sub oscillator. This is for you guys if you want to do this or not. I like to add subs sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Just depends. I'm going to go ahead and put it on direct out and keep it on 0. And I'm going to pull the level all the way down. And I think this main LFO is going to go on there too. Right, Park?
Yeah, all the way up.
All the way up. Very nice. But I'm not going to have the sub frequency going here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I think what I'm going to do is I just noticed something.
Yeah.
I have a macro on the FM knob. Can you click on the FM for me? Okay, cool. So we're going to put a macro on this FM knob right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. This is going to essentially move the FM knob ourselves. But this is so you guys can be able to alter it if you want. I'm going to go ahead and pull this down to 8, just like so. And then I'm going to set this knob. This will be FM. This knob is going to be at, what do I have it at, like 2? 7.
Yeah.
So right now it's normal, right? This it's just basically moving this knob, so you can get a little bit of alteration if you want to go like. But I just have this at 7, I think. Yeah, just it's barely doing anything.
It's cool when you don't want to decide on where your position is.
Exactly.
You can just throw a macro on it and fuck with it later.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. That's to automate whatever you want.
I always like too many different like positions, and I just get all confused.
Exactly, and then you can go like, and you can just kind of get some alteration there, which is why this is a really good patch, I think, because there's a lot of options to alter it. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and mix some more LFOs.
Let's do it.
Okay, so LFO 2. This one's a weird one. It's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. Go all the way down like so.
Fucking skate park.
Yeah, a little bit of skate park right here. I'm going to go ahead and raise this one up to about the halfway. I can hold Option, I think, or Alt if you're on PC, and I can bring that up like so. It's not really doing what I want it to do. Oh, yeah, this needs to go up. My bad. Make this just go up to halfway. I don't know if that matters, but we'll find out. All right, take that off. Let's go ahead and bring this one to halfway.
Starts to sound all like in the middle already.
Yeah. Come on. It's because I added that extra anchor point. Yeah, there we go. All right. All right, now this guy is going to go on some weird shit. Okay. Oh, I forgot something. Sorry, oscillator B, make sure you put that to plus 7 semitones.
Nice.
Sick. All right, cool. This one's going to go on the coarse pitch all the way up. I think it's to 100. And it's also going to be set to trigger, or sorry, to envelope. So it's only going to happen one time. It's kind of creating that laser sound. Is it all the way up to 100?
It's like 91.
Oh, 91.
Yeah.
91. That's what that laser. So like that's the thing I was talking about earlier. How you kind of make the sound change itself. Like the second part of, you know, if I hold it down. And I had a lot of fun. That was enabled me to be able to write like a really cool part for this drop. You know what I mean? Okay, what else is that on? Is it on the semitones too? Oh, it's on the master tune too.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do that later. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and make another LFO. This one's gonna be kind of like more of a sharper one. We're gonna pull this kind of all the way down like so, and we're gonna round this just a bit. We're gonna set this to trigger, and we're also gonna go ahead and put it on 16ths. And we're going to go ahead and put this on, what's that on?
On our effects.
That's going to be in on the other page?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. And then I have something here with a note. Oh, no, let's make the next LFO. And the next LFO we're going to make is going to look like this.
This is a beautiful one.
This is a weird one. Go ahead and put it in the middle of this box right here of LFO 2. And then what you're going to do is you're going to kind of, it's going to go, this is kind of weird. Yeah, this one goes to like here. So add it's like right there.
Yeah.
It's got a pimple.
Yeah, it's like a fucking weird pimple. Thank you, Becca. This one's going to be like this. And it's going to be kind of rounded. Right? And then
Yeah.
this. Right? I hate drawing in SERUM sometimes.
And probably it looks like this because you were listening to it while you were making the
fucking
LFO,
with it. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you were just adjusting it as you went.
Right. So just kind of make it look like this is basically what you're looking for here. Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, that looks good.
It's a little bit more rounded. That goes there. This is kind of moved up around here. This is kind of moved back a little bit. There we go. Right?
Yeah,
Probably
it looks
doesn't have to
good.
be exact, but that's fine. Okay, this is like a fun LFO. It's what I call these guys. This one, set it to trigger and set it to eighth notes. Is this on anything on this page?
This one
Also in the
yeah, this
effects.
is also for the effects.
Okay, and then I put a note on something. What did I put the note on?
More effect stuff.
Effects, filter frequency. Okay, cool. All right, so that's fine. All right, let's go ahead and do the effects. I'm going to go ahead and close this real quick and open up the old one because I forgot to do this. For any of you guys that don't know, I'm going to go ahead and bring up this patch here. I can go to menu and I can go to save effect chain. And I'll just call it XLNT Bark. Right? I'm going to close that.
Travis Bark.
Travis Barks. I'm going to bring our one that we're working on right now. I'm going to go to menu and I'm going to go to load effect chain.
Look how smooth that is, you guys.
Excellent Bark right
Boom.
there. That's already doing a lot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this up so we can kind of see everything nice and neat. I'm going to turn them off, and we're going to go through one by one. And don't worry, if you're just joining us, we're going to get into the FAT rack too. We just want to go ahead and make a sound for you guys. It's like super cool to really show you guys what you can
Get
do
in the
with
mood.
it. Get
Just
in the mood,
that
dude.
Fat mood.
Fat mood, bro. Okay, so the first thing we have is hyper dimension with the hyper rate at 40%, detune at 25, mix all the way down, 4 ways of unison, size all the way down for the dimension, and mix all the way down. And I believe we're going to put an LFO on this. So I think if you go to LFO 1, Parker, I think, yeah. So LFO 1 is going to go on the mix knob like so, and we're going to pull it back to about right before halfway. 40 toots, that's looking good. And let's go ahead and put it on the mix knob as well on the dimension, and let's put that to 30 toots. Love the toots, dude.
I like putting LFOs on the
Yes.
hyper.
The sound is going to spread and then
Usually the hyper dimension, it's like a lot. It's just
Exactly.
like, it's like, holy shit. Like,
right. Sound
you know,
is too much.
It's really hard to dial in unless you put it, automate it.
That's why LFOs are a beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Next, I got a distortion here. Just a tube distortion with the drive at 44 and the mix at 41. When we put that bandpass in, we kind of lose a lot of highs, even though we're kind of bringing them back in. So the tube is a nice way to use after a bandpass to get a really, really great saturated sound, especially with that top end that you're missing. So I'm going to go ahead and put LFO 1 on the drive. It's going to go almost all the way up. It's going to go to 50 here. I'm going to turn that on too. I'm also going to put it on, oh wait, no, it's not on the mix. What's on the mix? Click LFO 2, LFO 3. Okay, LFO 3, this one that we made earlier. This one's going to go on the mix knob, and that's just going to go all the way up. Don't know why I did that.
Really
but
nice top end.
Yep. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and get into the combs. So I'm going to do a comb. This for the filter will be miscellaneous combs. I know how to say miscellaneous. I just fuck around. Miscellaneous.
I don't even correct myself.
I know, you just let it happen.
Just let it all out.
Exactly. Okay, so combs is just like so. Cutoff is 84 hertz, resonance at 63, drive all the way down, damp at 0, pan at 50, mix at 77. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some LFOH to this too. This is our fun LFO like I was talking about. This is to get some weird fucking shit going on, especially with combs filters. I'm going to go ahead and pull this LFO 4 on that. I'm going to put it down to minus 11s.
Minus 11s.
Let's see what this does. This is going to kind of create some difference every time. Whoa, that sounds crazy.
That sounds insane.
Is that working?
Yeah, I think so.
Trigger. Oh, 8s. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Cool. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and add a multi-band compressor. Threshold at 8, or I didn't do anything on this one, I don't think, but yeah, 18.1, ratio at 4.1, attack at 2.1, release at 90, gain all the way down, mix all the way up. Nice. Okay, cool. I think I have a filter dry wet. Oh no, okay, there's no macros yet. All right, cool. Next, let's get into the EQ. So EQ is just on the top end, so I'm going to turn this. So all this is stock. Frequency on the right is going to be at 27.54, Q all the way down, and gain at 0.4. I put LFO 1 on the gain just to kind of bring the highs in a little bit. What is this at? 6? 6. Nice. Okay, cool. Next, I have a reverb. The reverb is just to have some space. It's set to a plate with the size all the way down, decay at 44 milliseconds, low cut at 23, high cut at 51, spin at 28, and spin depth at 100. Nice. Okay. So this one, I think it's LFO.
Might be
yeah, this one's supposed to go on the master tune. So let's go to the matrix. Let's go ahead and add LFO2 to the master tune. So I'm going to go to global, master tune, LFO2. I want you to modulate it, and I want it going. Did you find it? Yeah. It's going to be going both ways to 44. This is probably going to do a lot. Come on.
I always feel like a hacker when I do shit on the master tune. I don't know why.
Okay, next, I think we got to do some stuff in here, Parker. Go to the oscillator. Yes. Okay, so I have something on the semitone. So I have a, what's on that? I think, click on the macros for me. I have something on the octave, too. Okay, so I have another knob on this. It's called Automate Me. I put it on the octave on a B, and I have it set to -19. So this is kind of a cool knob that I added. And this one, essentially, you can automate it and make some really cool shit. So, Automate Me. And then I have another macro. Wait, no, that's it. That's all my macros.
Yeah, we got FM, we got LFO, filter mix.
All right, cool. Now let's go through and make sure that everything is correct. Oh, no, something's on the semitones. What's on the semitones right here? 2-finger click that putt for me. What mod is it? Something's on there. No?
We got, let's see here.
Oh, yeah, B course pitch. That's it. Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, we got that on the course.
So that's good. 91, right? That's something. Is there an envelope? No. Let me see that real quick. I'm going to go to the matrix real quick and just make sure that I'm getting everything right. So what I'm looking for right now is I'm just looking for the semitone, what I'm modulating on the semitones over here, because I think I am. Semitone. Oh, yeah, B semi. Here we go. Macro 3. Oh, okay. I forgot to add some more macros to here.
Oh, to our FM?
Yes. Okay, so FM, this is going to be macro 3. We're going to go do this actually in the matrix. It'll be a little bit easier. So I'm going to say macro 3, which is our FM knob that I talked about. This is going to control this B semitone, which is this right here, which we're going to mess around with this. So I'm going to say macro 3, go to oscillator B semitone. This is kind of like a, I don't know if I haven't seen this in other presets. I'm sure other people do it, but I started kind of messing with this lately to mess with the semitones and put it on a macro so you can get some really interesting stuff. So I'm going to set it to B semitone, and I'm also going to put it down. I'm going to put it going forward like so, and that's going to go to what, Parker?
-72.
-72. And there's one more thing we need to put on for the macro. Nice. Okay, cool. And then I think, let me check macro 4 real quick. Is macro 4 good? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. And then there's one more thing we're gonna do with this knob right here. So let's go to the matrix, and I'm gonna do macro 3. Should be on something else. Can you pull up?
Macro 3.
Yeah. There's something else.
Should we mess with the LFO that's on the comb filter? On the cutoff?
No, that's just let's get this thing right. So macro 3 is on a warp 2. That's also what's happening. So
a warp.
So I'm gonna go macro 3. There's also another thing that we forgot to do, which is the note to a oscillator A warp. And what is that set to? Do you see?
8.
8, and that's going one way. And then there's a note knob on the click right there. I forget which filter it's on. Effects filter frequency. Yes. Okay. This is super important. So if I go here and then go to the effects for me and then click on note. Yeah, you are on it. Okay, so this is gonna make a huge difference. So if I go like this and I put this on the note of the cutoff, because the combs thing is acting all crazy, that's really like the linchpin in the actual sound itself. So what that does is that's essentially putting key tracking on this filter itself so that it's gonna keep it in key. Because you could hear it before, it was sounding kind of trippy.
So it follows the note. Cool. That's awesome.
Right? So that keeps it in the actual note of where it's supposed to be.
That's actually really awesome because comb filters are naturally like in the harmonics of the notes. But then when you're moving it around, it's not musical.
Exactly. So it's similar to this key tracking button that we have for the filter right here. You could do this essentially the same thing with this, but note is a little bit actually more accurate. It's going to put it in the right frequency range.
And you can't key track an effect unless you do it this way.
Exactly. So that's like a super cool little thing, I think, that really makes the sound what it is. And my thought process behind that when I was making the sound was I was trying to get it to be really fucked up and then kind of bring it back together. You know what I'm saying? By using the note. All right, so that being said, make sure you guys go grab that in the download description below. It is yours totally free. If you're part of our Discord, you probably already got it because Discord gets shit before anybody, and subs and wubs on Facebook.
VIPs.
We have a link in the description for Discord too if you guys want to join that, and we'll talk about something very special that we're doing at the end of the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's get into the processing and just kind of explain what this fat ass rack is doing, right?
Huge rack.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna copy this fat rack.
And just so you guys know as well, we're going to make a new channel in our Discord where we can all share all of our Ableton Effects racks with each other. Because this is one amazing like rack. Obviously, this is Virtual Riot Fat Rack. But I kind of want to create like a little section in the Discord where we can all share our different effects racks with each other. Because FL, everybody in all of the other like kind of DAWs have like this like weird community where everybody shares everything, you know. But I haven't really seen like Ableton Effects racks like being shared around. So we're starting a channel on our Discord specifically for that, so we can share racks with each other.
Yeah,
we want to hear your guys' racks. We're going to show you how to do it, and we're going to kind of show you the elements of what makes this fat.
Right. So like for Logic users and for FL users, if you guys are watching this video, I mean, we're going to try to make this in FL and Logic for you guys to be able to have.
Exactly.
Because it's using a lot of stock Ableton stuff. Even Virtual Riot uses stock Ableton stuff, and I feel bad for all the people in FL or in Logic, you know?
Yeah, everybody's got their pluses and minuses with the DAWs that they use, you know?
Yeah, it's all for the community. So let's get into this fat rack and explain kind of what it's doing. I went ahead and put it on. I'm going to add something to it at the end that's going to really fucking blow your mind too, so just hang out for that. Already sounds fucking crazy.
Fucking ginormous.
So this fat rack, right? Essentially, there's two knobs. There's two macros. Yeah, good. Thank you, Beka. This is the fat knob. So if I turn this down, that's essentially the dry wet of the chain itself. And then this is the stereo. This is to make it spread or mono. So if I just wanted this sound to be mono, that's going to spread it to our left and right ears a little bit better. Now, in this fat rack, I'm going to go ahead and go one by one, and we can kind of hear maybe a little bit of differences. Don't worry about moving it yet, Bakes. I'm just going to shut everything up real quick. And
if you guys are listening in headphones, it's going to really help you like differentiate the stereo to mono. It helps a lot more. even if you have nice monitors, it's sometimes a little harder to hear like the very discrete stereo changes.
Exactly. Thank you for that, Parker.
You're totally welcome.
So the first thing on here is a saturator. I'm not going to go over the specs, but you guys can kind of see it. There's a whole bunch of chain stuff in it. But what essentially this saturator is doing, he has the depth all the way down and the dry wet all the way up with the soft clip. So this is kind of, everything is just doing little incremental changes to the sound to make it sound fucking crazy, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So with this, the drive's at like 3 dB. So that's all this knob is doing, is just moving this 3 dB, but also bringing the output down 3 dB. So it's just adding a little bit of saturation. The width also too is adding a lot. That's normally at 0 or 50, I believe. So it's adding its own spread in that, and then depth. So he's basically using different audio effects, and this is what we did. Where I replicated third-party plugins in Ableton, replicating their settings with Ableton plugins. But basically, he's using the same thing, but in different audio effects, if that makes any sense. So he's getting drive and compression and limiting from different audio effect racks as well as spread. So the saturator is the first thing. 3 dB of drive and depth all the way down and the width all the way up. Next is an EQ, and this is just like a basic EQ. This is basically he's just prepping his sound before he starts doing a bunch of shit to it, right? So what we're doing here is we just have a little boost and the low end at like 63 hertz. This is a common thing that you pull out of vocals. What you were saying too, it's like that kind of that boom.
Yeah.
Which can sound good or bad, but it's just a tiny boost.
Yeah, and in the club, it sounds fucking nasty, like on synths. So
it's a really good thing to have. And then also right here, it's got 300 pulled out, just a smidge. That's probably for the snare, I'm assuming, especially if it's
we all hate those low mids.
Yeah, they're
300. Everybody fucking hates that.
A little bit of the top carving. These are just some frequencies that he doesn't like, and I think most people don't like, including myself. At like 10K or 9K is pretty, and 3K. Sometimes those can sound a little bit hissy.
Nails on chalkboard.
And then you pull up the top end just a little bit. Next is a ping pong delay, and what this is doing is it's not actually like delay how you would commonly think of. This is a very, very short delay, kind of like you would use a simple delay to get the Haas effects, but he's just using the ping pong delay. This is just this part of the sound. So imagine this is an EQ shelf right here, right? This is just a little bit, looks like a titty.
Yeah, just like a little titty.
So basically this is just this frequency band that's essentially getting delayed. That's what's really cool about this, using a ping pong delay instead of a simple delay. This frequency band is just getting a little bit delayed at 16.6 milliseconds. So that's creating, it's kind of tricking your brain into thinking that that top end is a little bit wider. And you could hear what it does. A little bit gradual. If you're wearing headphones, you can hear it just go in the left and right ear a little bit more. Next is a reverb right here, and it's not like your common reverb. It's a very, very small room reverb. This is actually what me and Parker were talking about this earlier, is we were calling this like more of like a presence, right? So creating a presence in the sound. So creating it in its own little room, but not to a point to where it's like a giant room that you can tell. That's why this actually has a very short decay time right here. The dry wet's obviously very low. The highs are cut a little bit, and this diffusion is really what's doing a lot. This is essentially letting that room come in for a second and then closing it before the sound even finishes, correct?
Exactly.
Or before the reverb
tails
off.
This reverb style is definitely trending right now. Like, with all of us.
You use it a lot
I use it all the time. I always see you're on your laptop and you're like doing that exact same thing.
Right. I'm just, again, just adding a little bit more spread, a little bit more texture to the sound. Next is the VR stereoizer. I'm going to just kind of briefly go through this. This is another macro. I'm going to go ahead and move it over so you guys can see it. There we go. Okay, so what this is also macroed for you guys. So make sure you guys go download the description below, because that's really going to be really helpful for you guys. Is the wet and there's a dry. So the dry channel is nothing, right? So that's the signal that we already have right now. And then there's another chain, which is essentially a duplicated version of the dry channel, but adding a little bit more effects. Again, we have a reverb, right? And this reverb is very similar to the other one, except it's a little bit bigger room. So if I solo this, I'm going to go turn these off, actually. You don't really tell much, but it's just putting it more in a room because it has a very fast decay time. And diffusion's kind of just a little bit not as drastic as the reverb that we just messed with. After that, you have a utility, which I'll go ahead and move that over so you guys can see. This is just on the wet side of the chain. This utility is a good trick. There's a spread in here too, which is called the width. This is macroed to the original stereo knob that I showed you before. You can use this in your own production if you want to get a wider sound. But commonly, what people will do is they'll duplicate the track and essentially put the stereoizer on that track. So they'll have a very top end with the lows cut out, which is what this is doing, and the highs pulled up. Let me move that over so you guys can see that too. Just going little by little so you can see here. And that's getting mixed into the sound. That's why it's in a chain, so you can have it on one track versus having it on two. So commonly what people will do is they'll have their sound duplicated twice on two tracks. The first track will be like the main sound, which will be the dry channel, which is what we're already showing you guys. And then the second sound will be the wet channel, which will be the lows cut out and the width pulled up. So essentially that you're only hearing the wide side of the highs of the sound, if that makes sense at all.
Exactly. It helps you it helps you get that incremental change instead of having to blend in a whole nother channel. You can do it all on there, and it saves computer power.
Exactly.
It's super helpful to do.
Because duplicating is fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's super annoying, and then you have two of the same thing, and it's like...
Yeah, but we already did it for you guys, so
yeah.
don't worry about it. But I want you to understand what stuff is doing and why the process is, and like again, why you could kind of put this on anything and make it sound good.
Yeah, super helpful.
So I have it soloed so you can hear it's just the highs. So I'm going to go ahead and unsolo it so we can mix it back in with the dry channel. And we'll just keep going down the line here. Okay, so that chain ends, and then it's continued on to the original chain, which is kind of confusing, but bear with me. I'm just kind of explaining what stuff does. Next, we have a flanger. This is a very barely used. You can see it's just 9.38 of the dry wet. Just adding a tiny bit of texture. All these things end up getting boosted once you add a compressor at the end, which we'll show you. Next is a phaser. This phaser is kind of same thing as adding a little bit more spread and texture to the sound, I would say. And then again, we have another version of saturation, but this time we're using overdrive, and it's just a tiny bit. I mean, we're talking 20% drive, and it's affecting the entire sound because this is the EQ of the overdrive. And what tends to happen is, this is where I say that you can kind of manipulate stuff if you want. I'm going to move it over. This is a preset in Ableton for the multiband compressor called Reduce Ambience. This is a really nice multiband preset. What it does, it kind of cleans up. So watch. It just shuts off all the decay. So all that room and all that like reverb, all that delay, it's kind of getting added up.
Huge secret weapon.
Exactly.
Huge secret weapon.
It just cleaned it up entirely. So this is a great thing. You can put this on other stuff, or sometimes if you want to rock without it, you can go either way. But I like this sound, I wanted it cleaned up. So Reduce Ambience is off. I'm sorry, is on. And then next we have a glue compressor. With the soft clip turned on, and Parker actually caught this too. What this is actually doing is it's a transient designer. So if you've used third-party transient designers, this is essentially what it's doing. And the reason what that's doing is that's the very first part of that sound is that click to kind of get it to come out of the mix. The attack and the release are very, very fast with some decent compression and makeup game. So we're bringing up that very, very beginning of the sound. We're bringing that volume up. We're compressing it, and we're bringing it up to our ear level to be able to hear it just a little bit more.
Yeah, just a couple dB, you guys. Like, everything that we're doing right here is just a couple of dBs. Sometimes we're taking it back and adding, a little bit more.
Right.
The first step we did was the saturator. We went up 3 dB, but then the output, we took it back down 3 dB. So that stayed the same, but we just, it's every plugin is a step of gain.
Right. And you got to be careful with some of this transient designer 2 stuff because sometimes you can lose a lot of low end in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is how, if you wanted to make your own transient designer, this would be it in the glue compressor. Again, fast attack, fast release, compression, and bringing that back up. So if you want to put that on a kick, that could probably sound really good on a snare.
Oh yeah,
if your snare wasn't really popping through, you can try this method and then maybe mix the dry wet. Just some more mixing techniques that you can really learn from this rack, which is why I think it's so special. Next, we have an OTT, which you guys know what this is. This is just pretty much a stock OTT. Only difference is that, can you move it over a little bit, Bakes? Thank you. The output is at 6.5, which this isn't stock, right? The output?
No. Usually it's 10.
That's just the loudness of it. And then this is actually the amount is macroed to the PHAT. I forgot to mention that the makeup is also macroed to the PHAT knob at the very beginning of the chain as well, because that's all it's doing is bringing in the dry wet of each of them. Huge difference. I'm going to turn down the volume just a smidge. And then lastly, what you have is a glue compressor. And usually with a slower compression, which is what this is doing, is this is kind of used to glue the sound together. What this does is essentially the attack is a little bit slower and the release is a little bit slower, and just a little bit of makeup game. So if I was to pull this, kind of the threshold a little bit more, kind of makes the sound all one dynamic, right? Which is kind of making it glue. What this is really doing though is, since the soft clip is on and just 2 dBs of makeup, this is just for volume, I believe. But if I was to pull that threshold down, I would get a little bit more gluing of the sound.
Totally, yeah. And if you think about the attack knob as like 0.01 is like the transient, and then you slow it down, you can kind of like imagine the waveform just being like accentuated more. So this is the transient, and then you're pulling the attack out, and like, where are we? We're at like 3, so 3 would be like maybe like right here, 3 milliseconds.
Right.
So that's really nice. And then the same thing with the release. Release, you're doing it from the opposite. You're doing it from the tail, the body.
Right. Thank you for explaining that.
I like that. Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a cool little trick that you can do, and then I'm going to have Parker show you guys. Actually, you want to show them right now?
Yeah, you could just pull it up.
I'm going to go ahead and pull up. This is not part of the rack. Again, this rack is in the download description, but that's pretty much the overview of it. It's for you guys. I'm going to show you guys some more stuff that you can do with it, but first what we're going to do is I'm going to have Parker kind of explain to you, because he taught me this about actually mid-side EQing, and I think it's really important to understand how to really mix.
This really changed the game for you, right?
I was so surprised. I was like, we were working on the project file. I was like, Parker, I'm like, how the because I've done it before. I'm like, how the fuck do you use mid-side EQ? Like, what do you do? And he's like, and he explained it to me, and it was such a great explanation. I want him to share it with you guys because I think it's really going to help your sounds come out. And again, you can use this on anything. You can use it on basses. I mean, I probably wouldn't use it on drums, this PHAT rack. You could try it, but most likely basses,
might sound crazy,
synths, all that type of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and drag an EQ on here, and I'm going to set Parker up. Yeah, I'll go ahead and move it over a little bit. And
yeah, you could probably just give me the...
Yeah, I'm going to give you the mouse. So we're set on mid-side. Here we go, dude. Fucking switch.
Oh, yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
Dude.
Right here, let's try it like that.
Do you want to hit spacebar?
Yeah, so, okay, so with this... Ooh, this feels crazy. So with mid-side EQ, it's a little crazy. It sounds very like convoluted. Not a lot of people know exactly how to do it, what it means, but like it's pretty simple. So, which track are we? Okay, cool. So essentially, you're EQing within the stereo field. So there's mids and there's sides with MS. So that's what MS stands for. Now with mids, I'm just gonna accentuate everything so you guys can all hear what's going on. So this is, no matter where I go, if you're in headphones, you're hearing it only in the center.
Right.
So you could kind of find some like sweet spots. So like right here, that's like gritty. And the cool thing about doing this instead of not MS, just EQing, what is that? That's 1K. Instead of just EQing it, you're EQing it within the middle of the stereo field. So you're not even worried about the sides. And it's really, really concentrated. So it's really cool with like cleaning up the sound instead of affecting the whole thing. That's what I like doing with like parametric, or not parametric, multi-frequency compression.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where you can just compress the low end, or you could just compress the high end. I kind of think of MS a little bit like that, except for the stereo field instead of the EQ.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is making sense.
I think it's making sense. You also have the headphones enabled, which I think is an important part of the EQ, which is kind of essentially, so you can solo out those frequencies that sound the best in the mid. I mean, that's what he's sweeping for the frequency that really brings the mid out.
Exactly. And another cool thing about MS2 is what I use it for is analyzing other people's tracks.
Yeah.
So I could just throw this little EQ8 and I can, play the track and have the headphone soloed, and if I'm playing it, oh, I can't.
Oh, you got to have it on the other one.
Yeah. But you can essentially hear what is going on in the stereo field of the track that you're analyzing, which I think is really, really helpful, especially if you're trying, as your reference track.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that's like referencing the mid-side EQ of the track.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that's mids. Now, if you were to go to the side, right here, I really like pulling the highs up in the side. So when you're in headphones, you can kind of hear all of that is in the side.
Right.
So what I like doing with synths is I usually like turning the high end up on the sides instead of just everything. But you got to be very careful with it too, because it can get phasey really quick, very fast. Because if you're pulling up the highs on the side, and then you're dipping the mids out of the lows, it can start sounding crazy, just phasey.
Yeah.
But with these heavy basses, it's really nice because, I mean, essentially that's what you want, is like really, really like band passy kind of sound. So it's really cool. Another thing that I like to do is, instead of just sucking out all of the lows, you just suck it out of the mids. So like all of that like mud, like that's nice. It's nice to have, but you can just take it out of the middle.
Taming it a little bit more.
Exactly. So there still is low end frequencies on the side,
right?
But just not in the middle. So I think that hopefully that helps.
I think that
explain
makes sense.
MS to everybody.
Yeah, I think that's a really great explanation.
Yeah, and when you were doing it, it was really cool to watch you, since you didn't fully understand what it was, and then you're just pulling this knob up and you're hearing it.
I was just pulling it where I thought it sounded good, and then you explained it to me, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
And then
some techniques.
Yeah, and then I think we have what
I ended up doing.
What you ended up doing on it is on the other rack.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're
going
to give this to you guys, because it kind of depends on what sounds you guys are putting the rack on.
Exactly.
But look, you.
Yeah, one thing that you mentioned, I think that you didn't mention about the mid-side EQ that kind of clicked for me, that might be very helpful too as another technique, was you told me to go through with the sides or the mids and boost it to where it sounded good, and then go back with the mids and pull that out.
Exactly.
That was a big thing where I was like, holy shit, that just fucking changed my life.
Yeah, total opposite.
So you can see here the mid, I pulled out the mids here because it sounded really good in the sides, right? Sides meaning the left and right, mids meaning the center, right? So if we're talking about a 3D space of the sound.
Exactly.
And kind of what what Parker was saying with here is a very good little tip too, because sometimes the mid is our low end. Most of the time our low end is going to be our end up in the center, is where we want them.
Exactly.
And our high end is what we want on the left and the right, kind of like we were explaining with the sterilizer. So I think that's a really, really great thing for you to share that. And for me personally, as a producer, really helped me understand. And also, the only way that you're really going to understand is to really just kind of play around. Like, you could still mid-side EQ and not really follow what we're saying here, but just start playing with it you'll be able to start hearing it. That's how you're really going to be able to have a really good understanding. Same thing with compression too, I find.
Yeah, like that. I think of this as like the EQ part of like multiband compression.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very similar.
You're compressing different levels of frequencies, but with this, you're EQing different parts of the stereo field.
Right.
So I love MS EQing. I usually do it in Pro Q.
Yeah.
But 8 is awesome with it too.
Exactly. I think it's a really good point. So let's hear how that's sounding with Parker's little tidbit. And then off. I mean, you can hear it. Huge difference, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put this processing back on. So I have it on. I'm going to go to the bass track, and I'm just going to go ahead and turn all this stuff back on. And then I'm going to show you guys one more technique, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. But now that we have processing on that sound we just made, and now processing on the bass group itself, the same thing, the XLNT FAT rack. I mean, there's so much bite in that sound right now.
It's so attacking.
Now, here's another big thing that I want to show you guys, because this video is pretty much all on processing. I'm going to go ahead and shut that up. One thing that I did in this original sound that was a lot of fun that you guys can do, and we'll go through a couple sounds of this that you can kind of see what it does. Yo Man is a really cool preset. It's in stock in Ableton. You guys could probably, hopefully somebody can make a Yo Man in Logic or
yeah, that would be sick.
FL. That'd be really dope. I'm going to go ahead and put it before my rack. I just went ahead and minimized it. So anything I put before this rack is going to be accentuated. So now that I have it on, watch this. Right? If I put it after, not as significant.
Yeah, it's a little flubby.
But it's nice. So I'm going to put it back before. And then what I did here, which was kind of a cool part of the sound. I'm sorry, Baker. I'm like fucking. There you go.
Flying.
Yeah. So what you could do, I could go through a couple different presets, which I probably will, and show you how great this thing is. But I've seen people use Yo Man, but I found kind of a cool way of messing with it, which is what I did for this drop. Is you can essentially automate the dry wet of it, so that it sounds really tight. So it's super dry, then wet, like, or it had almost like its own reverb. Really cool way to do that if you guys want to automate that. It's a really fun way to get some interesting sounds. I'm going to go ahead and also show you this little trick that I kind of came up with. Maybe somebody else has done it before, but I don't know. But this main part of this Yo Man is this delay. It's a very short delay for this chorus. If you click this button, it kind of links them together. And then I could take this as one, as you see, it's at 12.9 is what it's to stock at. But if I move it, they both move. So I could do like little also variations like this. Super. Gets really,
yeah, if you were
really
to automate
interesting.
that, oh.
Exactly. So just a
Insanity.
fun little tip that I wanted to show you guys. I can show you again, just kind of, let me just go ahead and open up. Do we have Riddim Riot on this computer? Yeah, we do. Riddim Riot. That's Riddim Riot 1. Oh, yeah, this is what it was called before. Let's take something like this sound. I'm going to go ahead and turn these off. Now just showing you with just the rack. That's one of the sounds from Riddim Riot 2. It's called Fame Gazelle, named after my buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Alex Parker.
Yes.
He's got a video game YouTube channel. Shout out him. If I put Yo Man on there, and then, of course, the processing fat rack, I'd probably dial it back. Maybe in this case, it would sound better after. Let's try another sound.
Oh, so nasty. Nasty.
Maybe do like a growl. Not this one. Let's do... Where's the one that I like? Or like... Oh, yeah. Listen to that before. I mean, sorry, with it, and then after. Still pretty good because we do our best to design the best presets here. And samples. And then maybe Yo Man. That's crazy. Maybe I go...
that's so much.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's super huge.
So hopefully you guys learned something. Don't forget that is in the download description below. Extra special announcement, what we're doing right now. If you're in Discord, you already know about this, but I'm going to go ahead and let Parker tell you about
what we got going on.
What we got going on. Tell the people.
So we are doing our first official remix contest. If you guys are already in Discord, you guys already know about this. What we're doing is essentially we already made the remix channel, right? Mm-hmm. So we're doing a remix contest of this song, which is Throwin Bows.
Throwin Bows.
Yeah, so we made some stems for you guys. You guys can do any genre you want.
Yep.
And what's going to happen is, how much time do they have? They have up until...
Oh, yeah. We're doing the cutoff on October 31st to submit it. It's exclusively in Discord, so you have to submit it in Discord. You have to be a part of our Discord channel. And if you're also subscribed to our YouTube channel, that also helps us.
Yeah, exactly. So we're picking 2 winners. Yep. The first winner, you get an hour mentoring sesh with Danny.
Hi.
Or me, whatever.
Whatever.
You get any pack that you want for free that we've come out with.
Yep.
New, old, whatever you guys want. What else do they get, Danny?
We're going to repost the remix as an official Excellent Sound remix on our
YouTube channel.
On our YouTube channel. Also on our SoundCloud. We'll repost it as well. We'll shout you out and help out your SoundCloud. or whatever social media platform you want. And also what we're going to be doing that's going to be kind of cool. We don't know when we're going to do this, but probably in November sometime after we get all submissions, we're going to do a live stream listening to some of the submissions, maybe do some shout outs of some people that have some honorable mentions.
Fun hangout time, yeah.
And announce the winner in a live stream. So it'd be really cool. We just wanted to do something to give back to the community, jump in the Discord, and get involved.
Yeah, get some little friendly competition going.
Obviously, if you already have Riddim Riot Volume 2, I don't want to say that you have an advantage, but you have, and not just for Riddim, but you have the entire project file, which is a huge project file.
Exactly. Which
I'll when we play it, I'll kind of scroll through. You can kind of see all the tracks. There's like 80 tracks in there, so you already have individual stems and all the presets that you can manipulate to do it yourself. But if you don't, and you don't want to splurge for it, and you just want to be a part of the remix competition, no problem. We have a couple stems in that channel, so you guys can go grab those of like the drums and the basses.
Definitely enough to make some crazy shit.
Yeah, exactly. So we're really excited to be doing that, and we really want to encourage you guys to keep producing and keep growing like we are every day. Hopefully you guys learned something from this tutorial. Don't forget to go grab those in the download description below. If you guys want to hit us up for any mentoring and lessons, those are all on our website. If you want free stuff, we have tons of free shit on our website at
over 100 downloads.
Over 100 downloads.
Over 100.
Now. Yeah, so tons of presets, tons of samples, some project files. We're going to be adding some more stuff coming here really shortly. If you just got, if you get Riddim Riot 2 and you don't have Riddim Riot 1, we have a deal right now for you. If you buy both, you get like 25 bucks off. It's pretty crazy.
So you get both packs for 75 bucks.
Yep. So it should be a lot of great stuff we got going on. And I think too, if you guys need help, we've been having some people reaching out to us for production needs. We do offer our skills as producers. It's mixing and mastering and production. You can hit us up at our email at info@xlntsound.com, as well as if you're in the LA area and you want to use the studio with all the gear, you want to record somebody, hit us up too. We could set that up as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed for the most newest updates and the newest videos that we got posted. Shout out again Virtual Riot for being such a fucking amazing producer who inspired me to start doing tutorials, as well as I'm sure he did you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Huge inspiration.
He is a fucking OG. So yeah, we were really happy to be able to do this, and hopefully you guys like the song. I think we're really proud of it.
I'm super excited about it.
And if you guys want like a in-depth walkthrough, we were thinking about maybe doing that too, or going over some of the mixing techniques and mastering techniques, like kind of more in-depth videos like this. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's everything, right, Parker?
I think it is too.
All right, let's go ahead and play this song for a little bit, and then we'll fucking get out of here. So thank you guys so much again. We love you all. We'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to go ahead and play this from the start. Oh, is that going to fucking clip like a motherfucker?
No.
Sound all right? Go get Riddim Riot Volume 2. Show them the fucking Riddim Riot Volume 2 they got. Show them both of them fucking. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a little Get Lemon knock right here.
Oh, yeah.
Little Get Lemon tribute right here. Riddim Riot. 1, 2, 1. Go get it now.